look at the plane. Always planes. See how close they are? That's why whenever I do a video, you always hear airplanes. It's really, really tight quarters coming up here. As you guys might like seeing some of this. Hear that rattling in the back? Those are my stove stacks. How's it going, everyone? Today we're gonna go to the edge of this woodland here. I know there's a fire pit down here and a picnic table. And we're going to do a burn on my hot tent potbelly stove that I made. I've never used one before. I've seen people use them. I just decided to make one. The boys and I were out camping at Indian Cave State Park, and it got a little cold out. It didn't get too cold on us, but it did get a little chilly, and they brought up the idea of how great it would be to be able to feed our stove inside the tent. So I showed them some hot tent videos, and they really liked it a lot. So I made a stove. I brought some different pots and pans with me and stuff like that, so I can see how they're going to fit on the stove and see if there's any more modifications I need to make. But more importantly, we're just going to burn it, and we're going to burn all the paint off of it so I can paint it, and you know, go from there. My main goal from this is to, 1, enjoy the stove, 2, keep my kids coming outdoors all year long with me, and 3, enjoy it with them. So I did not put an interior grill plate in there. My buddy at work and we talked about it after I had done it, and he had made one and he put one in there, and I told him I don't really think I need one, and if I do, I might just take some bars and put in there and let the wood lay across it. I'm not sure, but like I said, I've never used one. I've never even played around with one, so I may be way off, or I might be somewhat close, but we'll see. So let's head out there and let's get to it, guys. It's not light. I mean, it's not heavy, but it's not a very convenient setup to carry along long ways, but it's good. It's not heavy at all. It's lighter than my pack. So, I mean, it's really actually fairly light. And I do have another stove inside of there. And I think the other stove I have inside of there is actually heavier than the than the stove that I'm going to be testing. I'll show you when we get there. We're not going far. We're only going just down there. There's a picnic table down there and a fire pit. But I want to use these woodlands to my advantage. Alright, well, there she is. And there's the ductwork I'm going to be using. It's just some 3-inch stuff I'll put together. 3x60. And on the inside, let me back this up a little bit so you can get a better view. Ooh, it's windy. Hopefully my mic doesn't get too distorted. On the inside of this, I have another little stove that I made. Well, it looks like it all came apart, but made just a little rocket stove. Oh, one of the other legs must have, here it is. I've never made a rocket stove either, but I figured if I'm making things I've never made before, I might as well just keep on going. So there she be. And I just cut this out real quick like that. It's not perfect, but you know, hey, it'll work. So anyway, I did make an air intake right here. So the idea is once you're feeding it with wood here, it'll pull in the cold air and superheat it throughout here. That's the theory anyway, but I don't know. I might just burn this one too to get that off so I can paint her. But just a little fun project. But here's the reason why we're here. Steve brought me a wing nut I haven't put on it yet for my hinge, or for my door handle. I'm gonna put a piece of wood here. I'm gonna carve a piece of wood and probably put washers on it here and here. That way it's a nice insulated grip. But it is windy, windy, windy up here. We might not get much audio, but we'll definitely have some pretty good burn video. I tend to talk too much anyway. So I put the other 60-inch piece on there. It makes this sucker really, really tall. In the wind, it makes it a little unsteady, but this one's fine for what I'm going to be testing today. And I actually have a 90 and a 45, and I have another angle that I can actually adjust it to make it a little more offset that I bought for whenever I decide, or however I'm going to decide when I make my tent or buy a tent. I'm not sure on what I'm going to do yet. Probably make one, but all right, let's go grab some wood. Let's get this puppy burning. Ooh, corn cob. Don't know how it ended up here, but I know it'll burn. It is very windy out. It keeps trying to blow my stove over now. See, I get the fire down in the bottom, and I'm able to lay wood across the top like this. Okay, well, I got my fire going in there pretty decent. And a couple observations that I've already made. I'm going to have to use some tent stakes to hold the legs down, just for security purposes. Out here in the wind, my stack is sitting 5 foot in the air, actually probably about 7 foot in the air with this thing. And it wants to blow my stove over. So, but the stove's going really good. Let me get you down in there. The stove's burning great. I'm gonna get it hotter, burn all this paint off. I've got a lot of wood over here I want to go through, so I'm gonna make a couple sticks and just use them as stakes, just for safety, just to keep the stove from being blown over. In a tent, that wouldn't be the issue, but when you're looking at a fire issue, then you definitely want to have it, you know, tent stake down. I could even actually just bend the legs out, or replace the legs and put wider legs. But inside of a tent, wind's not really an issue unless it's blowing at the stack, which I would have supported on the outside, I think. But, you know, trial and error. Oh yeah, looks great. I'm gonna keep the vents open, pulling more air, hotter fire. Oh yeah, that paint is burning off, baby. Look at it, it's turning like a gray color. Everything's working great on it. This is really cool. Fill that sucker up some more. Filled it up some more. Paint is burning off. Yeah. It's working great. If I can keep my camera from falling over. It's very, very windy out here, and I'm blocking the wind like I said before. I love that little G2 pouch. It goes right here on my heavy cover. Canteen, this is the Centerline Systems. It's pretty awesome. It's so cold that I have to run my camera with my backup charger on there so my batteries don't drain. Exciting, isn't it? Now I'm trying to overstuff it to see how it manages with all this. I've got it almost filled up. I don't know if this one will fit. Yeah, it'll fit in there sideways. Stove's hot. And now this stove is putting off a lot of heat, so this is great. I've got all my dampers opened up, baffles if you want to call them that. And when I close this door, that fire takes off on the inside. It's really, really cool. I can hear If I can get the camera down there, I can hear it sucking the cool air in. That's sweet. So I brought an assortment of pots out here with me to really make sure that my pots are all going to fit on here. If there's any other modifications I need to make. One of my most important ones to me is my canteen going to fit on here, which it seems like it will. That was probably one of the most important to me, because this is one that I use. This is one that I use all the time. So that's awesome. This fits. I'm really excited about that. And got some others here. My GSI skillet. It'll fit, but it doesn't fit all the way on there, so should have made a little bit longer. Oh well. It'll just fit right next to it. I can still cook with it. It's just 3/4 of it will be on. Okay. My titanium plate that I'll use as a skillet sometimes. It's a little bit hanging off, which is fine for a pot grab. This is how I carry my titanium plate, because when you're cooking out in the woods here, everything seems to get really, full of soot. Well, out in the woods here. I'm in a park. I'm not in the woods right now. So I don't want to damage the Teflon. So what I do is I carry the bag, because that's going to put all my sooty pots and pans in there if I can't clean them. And then I just use the handle to hold my titanium plate. Alright. I also brought out my this is the most important besides my heavy cover, which I don't think we're going to have an issue at all, which is my kettle. That fits on there perfect, and I can move my kettle over here to the side if I like, so I put those bars there. So that to me is great. While I'm burning on it, and last but not least, my Heli Context mess kit. That's a good fit. That's awesome. And it has the other pot with it. That's great. That's just verification really for me to make sure everything that that I mainly or predominantly cook with fit on there. But might as well not waste a good fire. Put a kettle on. Burning the paint off it. Fumes aren't going to climb into my pot, so. This thing is a beast. It is taking everything I can throw at it. I'll tell you one thing. I did make the door hinge a little tight. I thought I had compensated enough for the expansion with the heat. Not a big deal. When it cools down, I can fix that issue. That's no problem at all. But once I get to here, it's fine. It's just right there. No biggie. No biggie at all. But that's the whole purpose of this. Paint is definitely coming off. It's falling right out of there. Or right off of there. Which is cool. Which is cool. Just because of where the heat is, you can tell one of the hotter parts of the stove is actually like right above where I'm cooking. Probably because it's blowing in this direction here. I can actually see the coloration of the heat. So I really need to work on getting the fire and the heat to the backside to burn this off. So I'm going to push it back a little bit. Still a little too al dente for me. I think today is just going to be a instant coffee type of day. I have fresh ground coffee, and I also have some loose leaf tea, but it's very, very cold out right now, and I want something warm in me. So. Alright, well, I just got back into the car. Took my bibs and my hat and stuff off. But it's down to 26 degrees and it started to snow. I didn't even notice it when I was over there. I mean, yeah, I had a cold wind to my back, but I was wearing my bibs. And I had the stove in front of me and it was kicking off a lot of heat. I was thoroughly impressed with the stove. I wasn't so impressed with the way that I made the footings. I should have made them wider, but I think that as long as I just use some tent stakes, which it would be safe to do that regardless, put some tent stakes on there, it'll be fine. The hot tent that I either envision buying or making is going to be floorless anyway, so that's fine. I want it to sit on the ground. Yeah, so I'm not looking to do like ultra lightweight backpacking with this stove. This is merely as something to enjoy the outdoors with the kids and, you know, still be in the outdoor elements per se, away from everything else. So this has been a really fun, it's just been fun, you know, just building the stove. And now going into the next adventure of either finding I'm looking at either getting a used military tent. I'm trying to do it as budget friendly as possible. You know, when you take this adventure doing this, you don't go out and buy the most expensive stuff right off the bat, because, you know, as much as I'm enjoying doing this, it may be something that they're not into, you know. Or that I may not really like all that much. I don't foresee that happening, but I'm not going to just jump off the ledge, you know, spend $800 to $1,000 on a hot tent when I can, you know, or less. Of course, they're cheaper ones, when I can make one, you know. And if it's something that I think will progress, then it's something that I'm going to spend more money in. And I find it very satisfying when you do spend a higher amount of money sometimes on higher end things that last long, that have more longevity, because you're buying an item one time as to replacing it because it was, you know, subpar. So that's my outlook on things. You know, when you try things out, don't go overboard, but if it's something that you really do find yourself enjoying, buy quality. For sure. For me, the best part about that is that if I feel like I want to upgrade something, I have little ones who I can pass that on to, and if they do enjoy that, then I upgrade their stuff as well. So, yeah, I'm just kind of, you know, rambling on, staying warm because it got freaking cold out there. It's only 43 degrees in the car right now, considering it was, you know, 26 when I got in. So But anyway, you know, the stove worked great. I do have a little bit of sanding to do on there. There's a cold spot on the very back bottom of the stove. I don't really foresee that being a problem, because I think that if it's, you know, going to be in a hot tent, the thing is going to heat up all night long, instead of an hour and 20 minutes of me just out there burning it, you know. So I'm gonna sand it off or put my torch to it and just burn it off on the backside, and then I got some stove paint. I'm gonna paint it, and at the end of the video I'll show you guys what it looks like all painted up. So thanks for coming along with me and humoring me on this little adventure that I'm taking with this hot tenting. It's just fun. So, alrighty, see ya. Guys, well, we're back here in my yard now. I have got the stove all painted up. There you go. She looks good. She looks pretty. She's very efficient. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Just works like a dream. Really, really does. I'm super, super happy with this. My dog is upset that he can't come outside right now and pee on this thing. So hey everyone, once again, thank you for coming along with me. Please like, share, subscribe, and if not, thanks for a little bit of your time. I appreciate it. Take care, everybody.